just before. I'll just rush up the stairs, even not really looking at the other two, being rightfully freaked out at the thought of them being back, and then just sort of like take the steps two at a time, just to get us up as quickly as possible.
Thomas, take the shaken condition, please. Because, I'm always going to give it to someone.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
This is a basement, so it's like a concrete floor, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In older, crappier basements or basements with crappy stone walls, there tends to be debris everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like little, practically chalk dust, stone dust, etc., etc. Is that true here?
Yes.
I'm going to head upstairs, but I'm going to scoop up some of that stone detritus, and I'm going to eat it.
Liza, you see this bizarre ritual.
While I'm doing that, I'm going to be activating Primal Glory with its loophole, which is consuming the element.
Liza's gonna. We'll talk about that later and run past.
I'm also I'm going to let people go past me because I am doing a thing assuming she is in a confrontation. I'm not going to be coming out of the stairway unless there really is a confrontation, because I don't have a thing in my head going, they're back, kill them all. So I don't want to be outwardly supernatural until I'm sure I need to be.
You can go two abreast up these stairs, and as you're ascending, you can see a large-shaped man with his hand on Maya until she shrugs him off. At which point, for a split second, the two of you ascending, Liza and Thomas, are able to see, as he does this briefly, it's like his form flickers, especially for you, Liza. You are seeing this being as an entity crawling with thousands of insects or tiny creatures. There's no discernible form to his shape, but it looks like he's about to pounce on Maya, who's just shrugged him off. At this point, let's do initiative. So, as we all know, to do initiative, you get your initiative modifier, roll a d10, and add it. I will do the same.
I have my own ignorance here. When you pull a weapon with an initiative mod, does that afterwards change your initiative based on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Liza has a 9 total.
Okay.
I've got an 8.
Connor's reaching for his dice.
Kicking it old school.
Maya rolled really bad, and she has a 6 in initiative.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I just got new dice, so I'm going to use them, damn it.
Do it.
Okay, here we go. They're pretty. It's hard to tell. They're like cracked, like sea glass.
They look like dragon scales.
Oh no, hang on. I've mucked it up. I rolled an 8, and I thought it was the 8, but I forgot to add the modifier of 5. So I am going first. Never mind.
I am at a 12.
Okay, and you go before the
I think we're like
creature,
yeah.
Who is sort of firmly mid-table at a 9. So Thomas, you get to act. You see this creature. It looks like he's about to pounce, and you can tell immediately. You pick up the odor. It's reminiscent. Yes, this is without a doubt. You're dealing with the exact same creatures. Maybe not exactly the same, but the same type of spirits as you dealt with before. How could they have returned so quickly from an area you cleansed?
How long? I know I can shift as a reflective action. Can I do that now, or would that take up the?
No, you can do that now.
Okay, then he's just going to. I mentioned this. We'll just laser focus on dealing with the problem. So he'll go to Nearwolf and just try to kind of not even lose momentum and try to slam into the host and knock it down, basically.
Okay. All right, I'm happy for you to go for that. Let's make a roll to see how well that tackle goes.
Okay. Should that be dexterity and I forget how it works.
So if you're just aiming to,
Well, I mean, ideally, well, for now, just knock him down. Yeah, just like broadly into the body, just to
yeah, if you're aiming to tackle someone, essentially, you're going to be doing a strength and brawl.
Okay.
Against his, well, minus the Bechelou's defense.
Yeah, 1 sec. Three successes.
3 successes. Okay, you get 1 success because of the Bechelou's defense, but it is enough. You do crash into him. And I would say that given that he was not expecting to be tackled from someone running up the stairs, you take him by surprise as well. So yeah, bringing him down to the ground is not terribly difficult. However, when his eyes meet yours, glowing yellow, a rat's eyes, it's like eyes you have seen before. So, who came next? I think we had after Thomas.
I had a 12.
You had a 12. So, Connor, you hear does Thomas make a noise when he shifts and charges, or is it silent?
Just a growl, like a snarl more than anything, yeah.
Okay, well, Connor, you're going to definitely hear the growl, and then a crash.
Okay. On the way up the stairs, was I able to activate the ability I was trying to?
Yes, I've got no issue with you doing pre-combat prep.
Well, I also need to pull a sword, and that's a separate thing. So I'm not going to have done 2 things. So I'm going to take I actually already have the roll from last time. I'm going to reach into the brick wall and pull from it a inexplicably sharp brick longsword, which doesn't really make sense, but that's kind of the point.
Yep, it's like something out of a fairy tale.
At this point, since Primal Glory is up, I also have more or less like the tiniest specks of rock and probably earth mixed in there, but mostly rock just whirling around me. But they're really tiny, so it's probably less obvious unless you are right near me. So I will pull a longsword from the wall, and I will move toward the issue, as I'm not going to be stabbing anything this turn.
Connor is at the rear of the party, but is able to see everything that's going on. The staircase is wide enough and it's well lit enough above the basement. Didn't really give the dimensions of the basement proper scope, but it's pretty wide and probably goes on further underground, through a door into further corridors, but we won't get into that right now. Anyone else get above a 9?
I got exactly a 9.
Well, in that case, what's your dexterity, Liza?
Only 2.
Only 2? Well, so is mine, so I'll let you go first as the player.
All right. So a couple of things. Liza is feeling her mind beginning to shift as the horror inside of her decides that maybe it's time for her hungers to take a different shape in order to best fit the situation. So she's activating the effective alien mindset to gain not only a second legend, but a second horror or a second hunger for the scene, which she's going to take on a hunger for prey for this scene.
Fantastic.
And then that's reflexive. So she'd also use the we had discussed pursuing this atavism before, and I think it's a good opportunity to introduce it. Infestation. So she feels the swarm of symbols and characters that make up her horror kind of swelling up inside of her, and then her skin kind of fades away, and like before where others had seen her or kind of lurking over her, it would never have been this physical before. So spending a point of satiety, which drops me down to only one remaining, to activate the satiety expenditure effect of infestation, and her body dissolves into this swarm of characters and words and knowledge, and she's going to leaves all of her earthly possessions behind and then condense around the Becheloux, which, since she has layer 1, does a single point of lethal damage each turn to the Becheloux.
Okay, all right, nice. So the Becheloux, looking absolutely bewildered by this unexpected attack from 2 people at least, and a changeling marching up the stairs. Becheloux does get to act before our Promethean, and in a fit of panic is just snapping and biting at the werewolf on top of him, and goes to clamp down his rancid, spiked teeth into the shoulder of Thomas, our ivory claw. So I'm going to roll, and by all means, Thomas, you would have had to decide before your action to dodge, I believe. So you can't really do so. You're already kind of in a grapple as you fall into the ground together. I'm going to make a call on that. So I'm going to see what I roll to hit, and you can basically deduct with your defense. So let's see. I'm going to make a roll. Okay. I am going to get 4 successes on biting you, Thomas.
That's -2.
-2, so it does successfully bite down, and you feel, despite your absolutely monstrous form, that there's a searing, burning pain that comes with the bite as the needle-like teeth pierce your skin, which is very rarely broken. You feel the pain, the agony of poison and disease just corroding and corrupting the flesh around your shoulder. Maya, you are seeing all of this. This has all happened in a blur. You were standing there for a second. All of a sudden, you shrug this man's shoulder off. You call out for Liza. Liza's charging up the stairs. Thomas is charging up the stairs. The man is tackled to the ground. Thomas has got him by the legs. He's bitten Thomas on the shoulder. Liza has disapparated into thousands of swirling words, and Connor is marching up the stairs with a defiant look upon his face. Maya, what are you going to do?
Maya has experience with guns. She doesn't really think that that's going to work here. She doesn't know much about combat, but what she has seen of military tactics, guns in close combat is normally not good. She doesn't have a lot to add to combat without that. So she's mostly just trying to stay out of the way at this point. She knows that she can help most by keeping herself safe so that no one has to worry about her. So to that effect, she is actually going to spend a Pyros and move into a swarm form, so that she takes damage from only area of attack, successful area of attacks. So that's what she's going to do, is dissolve into nanobots so that she can't be hit.
All of this is happening, as I say, within a matter of seconds, and that's fantastic to know that all 4 of our protagonists have done something utterly supernatural and inhuman within 1 turn. And we're going to swing back around to Thomas, who's just been bitten.
I think Thomas, besides the searing
I'm
pain...
sorry. Yes,
carry on,
I should have made it clear, Thomas. I did, of course, deal you damage, didn't I?
Yes.
Now, I know werewolves have a rather good regenerative ability. You were dealt 3 lethal damage.
Right. Can I use the refinement of the flesh to heal it faster? Is that... I forget how it works.
I believe so, yes, you can, but, well, whether you want to do that in the middle of combat or not.
Not really, no. But it'll be interesting to try later. So it's there's both the pain and the kind of agony of the poison, but also with Thomas's obsession with purity, just like the idea of being bitten and like kind of poisoned by that thing is just enough to just feel so disgusting and wrong. If he wasn't shaking already, he'd probably be shaken now. But let's not pile on. But knowing that if the human form dies, it'll kind of burst into all the spirit charges. He's going to try to just bite at the like legs or kneecaps, just like to basically use the near wolf forms weaken the prey thing to rack one of the legs.
Okay, so yeah, you're trying to impose a leg rack on him straight away. I'm still going to make you roll to brawl if you could.
That's fair. Yeah. Also strength again. Strength
yes,
and brawl.
Please. Okay. You're already on top of him.
Okay. It's just one success.
One success. Okay. I'm just going to see if there's anything I can do about that. He is aware of the attack, so the defense is probably going to kick you in the jaw and prevent you from really getting good purchase on his legs, I'm afraid. He does still have defense, even despite his current position.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, it was a very good roll in the first place. Like, one isn't really.
No.
Yeah.
not
well, that was going to happen.
Real quick, guys, I do want to highlight it. In Chronicles, defense is supposed to subtract from the dice pool, not from rolled successes. I don't know if we're house ruling that, but that does make it about 3 times stronger.
Yes, you are correct, and I've just I fucked that up. Sorry, viewers. I'll edit that down. Don't worry. So
please don't. But...
I'll pretend this never happened. So Thomas, he has a defense of 2. Could you roll your brawl and strength, please?
Okay. 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, well, that's all right then. So you have successfully racked his leg. How would you like to describe the action you've just taken against his left leg?
I think Thomas is just going to go straight for the kneecap. I mean, his muzzle at this point is pretty much big enough to just grab the whole. Well, I mean, just in the middle. He's going to basically just bite into the kneecap and just bite down and hope that everything around it breaks, basically.
Beautiful crunch and blisteringly sour taste as you bite into the leg of this host. It all but severs the leg at the knee. The strength of your jaws is so much. I believe your bite, as a general rule, has a flat damage, which I will just obtain, unless you have it noted.
Oh, I should have, but
I'm so sorry. I think your form. Are you currently on +1 lethal damage with your bite?
Yes.
Yes, you are, and you got 2 successes.
Oh, no, two for the teeth and 1 for the claws, actually.
Perfect. Okay, so that's actually going to be 4 lethal damage to the host's leg, given that it's also being bombarded by a swirling Liza as well, who we're now going to. We're jumping to Connor at this point.
Yep. So Connor will just stride up, very matter of factly, and attempt to end this obviously foul beast.
Okay, you stride up into the melee. Everything right now, you basically stride into the swirling, meandering forms of both the beast and the Promethean, which could be merging with each other. I'm sure on some level, Liza is enjoying the hell out of experiencing almost merging with a stream of streaming nanobots. But Connor, you are stood at the top of the stairs. You could bring your sword straight down on this host as Thomas is biting down on his legs.
I would like to do that. And his defense is 2, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Hold on. So I'm gonna. So it's strength plus melee, correct?
Weaponry, yeah.
Okay, so I have 4 in weaponry and a spec in swords. So 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I have a +6 modifier on the sword, and -2 for his defense. So I'll roll 12 dice.
And
That's
who said the
going to
werewolf
be.
will be the combat machine?
That's going to be 6 successes, and hold on.
And salt.
I exceptional succeed on 3, because of the first rank of elemental warrior. So I don't even know what exceptional success does, but 6 successes.
Hmm. And your blade, do you know what damage it does offhand?
It's just lethal because it just adds to. It just gives me a modifier of 3 towards the roll, I believe.
Okay. There's not really much the Beshlu can do about this, and as much as this maybe not be what Thomas wants out of this situation, the
Oh no! Oh no!
the racked up lethal damage that the host has taken, as the sword is brought down onto the bulging chest of
Oh
the
no!
Beshlu, your blade does cut through him like butter, and he splits like a wet sack exposed to a sharp object. And even Liza, in her molecular form, if you like, is forced to, buzz away from this, like to this swarm of flies. It's this is too much, because as the sack just spills open, you've successfully cleaved a great number of these rat spirits into pieces with the force of your blade. Congratulations. But not all. And rats scurry out from the open chest of the now deceased host and try and tear off in all directions. And in fact, I believe it's Liza now.
Liza, as a swarm, is going to attempt to follow the largest group of them if you can, and kind of like condense down.
You froze for a little there. If you could repeat that.
Liza's going to attempt to follow the largest group that she can and condense on them like one at a time to attempt to eat away at them to whatever extent she can. Good news is, as a swarm, she can kind of fit into any kind of tight space or fly around, all that fun stuff.
Okay, so yeah, the largest group of these rats does scurry off deeper into the staff-only area. You whip behind them, being the trail of swirling words and letters and numbers that you are. As they scurry through holes in the wall, you are right behind them. As they squeeze through cracks, you easily pass between them. And you're not entirely sure. In fact, no, you studied the map earlier. You are entirely sure of where you are when you find this nest of Beshlu. You are in the children's play area of the museum. It's been shut off. It's been locked. On the map, it was down as under construction. The rats have all made their way here, and you can tell immediately there is a great tear between this world and another one here, because they seem keen to pass through it, crawling under blankets, beneath bean bags, between toys, but they're not emerging again. And now, because I know you're doing 1 lethal damage per turn without having to take any further action, you are able to savage and maul and eliminate a great deal of these rats just by being in proximity to them. But a couple of them are able to escape through. Now, it would have been the Beshlu's turn, but obviously the Beshlu, as he was, isn't there anymore, so he doesn't get a chance to shriek out, squeal in his rat cry to signal any of his allies. As far as you know, none of them have been informed that any of this, under 10 seconds as it took, have heard what happened. Maya, it's your turn, and then we're probably at the end of combat.
So that being said, Maya is probably going to check that no one else is coming. She's going to take her swarm form. She's going to leave the shell of her body behind with Connor and Thomas, where the rats are coming out. She's going to kind of just creep underneath the staff-only door just enough to kind of scope out what's going on outside. She's just keeping a lookout. She's making sure that they can do what they need to do without being harassed by the rest of the staff. And if she sees somebody, that way she can give them a heads up.
The same staff that you saw earlier, the guides who were looking rather listless, the man at the front desk, are still there. None of them are acting at all strangely. They are clearly completely unaware of what was taking place in the next room along, despite the hive mind that Becheloux possess. This happened at a rapid rate. The host was tackled, leg was broken, and then he was cut into pieces. It's quite possible that you have outrun some of the rats before they could inform their compatriots. And in fact, I'm not going to make you roll for it. You do see a couple of those rats you saw break free make their way over towards some of the guides.
No, seeing that, she's going to come back to her host self, her original self. She's going to merge her swarm with her body, and she's going to let the two men in the room know that, you know, the rats went to go talk to some of the strange people. Not really sure if we should do something about that, but your rat friends, that's where they went. They're out there.
I'm going to reflexively turn back human, and just sort of like turn to Connor and say, like, I know you didn't know, but you know now. Just cripple them, do something to don't kill them, or the balloons will keep popping. Just keep them from moving. Just knock them down. I don't care. Just don't. Let's not do this again.
I mean, I could just kill all of them after they come out too.
No, you can't. I'll explain later. Just chop their legs off. If you're so chop friendly right now, just whatever happens, go for the legs. And I'll at that point, Thomas just kind of like, goes for straight for the other guides that Maya pointed out, basically.
Is Connor heading in that direction as well, or is he pausing for thought?
I am, but I have a question.
Go for it.
Do we think AoE, does it look like area of effect type things will kill these rat spawn?
Certainly you saw the direction that Liza's swarm went, and you saw the way she was able to savage multiple rats at once, so yes.
The armor that I have on currently that is swirling around me does a lethal to anything in melee. However, as an elemental, I can choose to do that in to my weird in yards from me. So I'm pretty sure I can do like a 2-yard circle around me, taking a lethal for being that close to me. I don't know if that's enough to kill the rats, though.
I think for the sake of narrative it would be, as long as they're not within their host shell.
Yeah, I'll still try to cripple, but you know, if they die and pop like balloons, then I'll give that a try. So I'm gonna follow my werewolf friend, but with the intention, if it looks like he's going after one group or one specific person, I will move to head off another, so we don't end up with 2 or 3 people beating on one person, because that's how people go down very quickly.
Quick question. Did Liza get any satiety for prey for that encounter?
I would say so, yes. You would definitely receive... I think you could receive 2 satiety for your actions here.
Okay. I'm gonna spend. Since I assume this is kind of a new scene, I'm going to spend another point of those again to stay in this kind of swarm form and go back the way I came, away from this nest, and try and find the others and join up with them again. I'm going to tell them about it, but for right now, not feeling safe here by myself.
This, on the complete side note, this lair, this chamber is looking more and more fantastic. You could probably incorporate another part of this museum into your lair.
Ooh.
All you have to do is get into bed with some rats. You don't mind them crawling around in the library, do you?
And while I have a maybe particular affinity for swarm-like intelligences, there's a line.
Connor bursts out of the door, marked staff only, along with Thomas. Maya is there. Maya, have you retaken your host, your regular form?
She has. She's also, with quick draw, it's a reflexive action, not that it matters because combat hasn't started yet. Now that no one is immediately up on anyone, she's going to draw her heavy pistol and she's going to prepare to incapacitate anyone having heard Thomas's warning. So
fantastic. So emerging into the main museum chamber, it looks like the two guides you could see talking to each other are about to march on the door, but when three of you emerge through it, one of them keeps moving forward, the other one turns on his heel and bolts. Liza, you catch the sight of everyone leaving the area and entering the museum proper. Let's roll initiatives again.
Ah!
I got a 6.
rolled a motherfucking 1 again. I got a 6 too.
I have 14.
Oh, I got a 6 as well. How fantastic. And Thomas?
You were silent there.
Yeah, sorry, Sebastian. Could you repeat your initiative? No, you're still silent.
No, you probably
Okay,
muted the mic.
I probably.
Yeah, you're good.
How about now? Okay, no.
You're good.
Actually, can I again reflexively go into near wolf before? Probably not. Can I? Do I have to go by human?
You were in human when you entered this scene, so...
That's true. Yeah. In that case, it's yeah, but it was 10. Sorry. Yes.
10. Okay, Connor, you get to act very much first.
Okay. Others are definitely...
Only one of these guards was advanced. Well, two were advancing on you. Guides, I should say, not guards. The one who's approaching you is a rather willowy looking woman. Again, it looks very sick in the face, very lank hair, very watery eyes. And she was being accompanied by a taller, more well-built man, but quite contrary of their appearances. The taller, well-built man has turned tail to flee, leaving you, essentially, confronted by a woman who was marching towards you quite boldly.
Well, others are faster than me and have ranged abilities, so I will confront this woman who is, I wouldn't call her a woman, this thing that is approaching us. And I will attempt to... am I within distance to attack, or do I just need to get to her to confront?
I think you could easily close the distance and attack in one turn, yes.
Yes, I would like to close the distance and attack, and I honestly don't know Chronicle's rules well enough for this, but I do want to target a leg or something like that I don't want to burst the balloon, as it has been explained, if I don't have to. Is there a penalty for that? Is that...
I'm happy to say no. I think some of the games do apply penalties. Let's not do that. We'll just make combat fast and fluid. So if you want to target legs, go for it.
Okay, and what's her defense so I can take it off of my roll?
Her defense is a 3.
Okay, I will only roll 11 dice. 4.
So to describe, I assume Connor is basically running up, blade in hand, and slicing through the legs, attempting to do so.
Yes. It's 5 successes.
5. But of course, in that case, no need to describe further. Your blade doesn't so much slice through, bearing in mind it's made of brick. It shatters her legs, both legs, as you just cut straight through, and she pretty much folds at the knee as they turn into a lovely V shape, and the lower halves of the legs hit the ground slightly before the rest of her as she lets out an inhuman, bestial shriek of pain, as I think most people would. What's Connor's feeling during this? What's his expression?
I am quite... So this person is showing the exact same physical signs as the last one, correct?
Not quite. She doesn't have the rather unnatural bulges, and she doesn't have the yellow eyes, but certainly the shriek she is emitting is not normal.
Especially with that shriek. I imagine approaching her, it would be steadfast and maybe even a little concerned, but once that shriek comes out, fully confirming the inhuman nature of these monsters, I know all of the stories. I know that children were going missing, and so at this point, it's kind of a grim smile. Like, this is the work that we can do. This is how we improve our city. This is something that now needs to be done. So at this point, not happiness, because that's not... I don't get joy out of this, but this is good work. This is work that needs to be done. So, yeah, grim determination plus that kind of this is worth it smile.
Lovely. Okay, and could I ask Thomas, what is he doing? He sees this all go down again. This is within a matter of seconds.
Reflexively turn into Neowolf to try to close the distance between me and the running Echelon as quickly as possible. And this time trying to actually aim for the legs immediately while I'm hopefully barreling into him. I don't know if I'm fast enough to get there.
As you have taken wolf form, yes, your speed has increased. You are faster than this Bechelou in human form.
So I'll go for the leg again, and this time just immediately for the just any part of, not really aiming for any particular part of it. Just I don't know if it affects the roll to hit or anything.
No, defense on this one is a 2, so deduct 2 from your strength and brawl. Remember to add any dice you have for your current werewolf form.
Mm-hmm. 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, that's better.
As if I can grab him, I want to use the rack gift. Which I can activate when I successfully land a brawl attack.
Okay, explain the gift.
Right, it's let me just read it. It's basically upon successfully striking with a brawl attack, the victim suffers the werewolf's cutting renown as a penalty to all dice rolls for tracking and foot chases. It just it just racks whoever touches it with intense agony.
Mm-hmm.
And just just makes it obviously more difficult to move. And his cunning renown is 2, so it's a 2 penalty to get away, even if the leg is good enough to get away with.
Excellent. Okay, so just as the ivory claws like it, they like their prey hobbled and in immense pain.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, Thomas especially wants to see it. He's, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you tackle the more bulky guard, bringing him down, snapping legs. This appears to be your party's motif. If you end up taking a name, it will be the Leg Breakers or something equally as poetic. And what this takes us on to, I've checked your dexterities. Maya, you have a higher dexterity than Liza. You can take a quick scan of the room. The two immediate prey have fallen. You see the old man who gave you the maps and the audio devices getting up from his desk. His face is changing, his body is contorting into something whiskery and wiry and rodent-like. You may be able to get a shot or two off before something dreadful happens.
I mean, internally, I'm just kind of thinking, because I previously assumed that he was human and we would have to deal with him. I think Thomas just kind of thinks, oh, good, I don't have to deal with a human, having seen this, and just sort of lunge for him as well.
No, this is Maya. This is Maya.
Oh, Maya, I'm so sorry, yeah.
So Maya is going to prepare to take her shot, and while she's doing that, she's going to charge her alembic. Specifically, she's going to be charging her athletic grace distillation, which gives her a +1 to her dexterity-based rolls. So she's also going to spend the Pyros to reflexively activate that. So that's all reflexive. And then she's going to take a shot at the leg of this gentleman. We're gonna take him out. He's not going anywhere.
Okay, go for it. Leg breakers.
Okay, so with her specialty, she has a dice pool of 6 plus the 1 for her alembic.
He has a defense of 2.
Guns should bypass defense.
Yes, and indeed, he's not going to be able to dodge this either. So, yeah, go for it.
Awesome. I'm also going to spend a point of willpower, so I will be rolling 10 dice total. And we got 5 successes on shooting his leg, so that should give him the leg rack tilt, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you are quite correct. The bullet doesn't just pierce through his leg. I think yeah, you've shattered his thigh bone. The bullet has just gone straight through, and he crumples. He screams. It's a horrible, shrill, trilling noise. Like a rat in pain, indeed, but a humanoid-sized rat, as his face was contorting. It would be his turn, but Liza, it's Liza's turn first.
Liza, having seen what happened last time and kind of catching on with the whole leg breaking thing, is not going to condense on anyone's legs, but she is kind of going to swarm near the one whichever one seems like they're most capable of movement still, if any of them are.
The one most capable of movement is the one that Maya has just shot. Simply, you think, because of its inhuman shape. You're not sure what exactly he's about to do, but you don't really want to see it. Part of you're curious and you want to see it, just record it for memory, but you don't want to experience it.
So she's going to swarm over in that direction and just prepare to condense and start swarming on little rats if something goes wrong and they happen to burst out, but she is not going to assault the creature right now.
Okay, in that case, I'm treating it like you're holding your action, because he may well make a movement that you then wish to retort against, and indeed he does. His action, as he was intending on turning into some kind of, a bestial Bechelou with all the charm and grace and power of a were-rat, effectively. That isn't going to go to plan with only one leg. So his secondary plan is he gets his claws, he embeds them in his chest, and he rips it open. This Bechelou does not have hundreds of tiny rats or dozens of rats inside his chest. He just has one big, fat albino rat where his heart should be. And that albino rat lurches out and attempts to pulse away But of course, there you are, above it, like a swirl of razor-sharp words. Now you can take your action.
She's going to condense down on him and start cutting away with not very metaphorical jabs of phrase. And main priority is sticking on the rat wherever it goes. If she's not able to wear it down in this turn, it's going to be to stick on it turn to turn and continue to tear away at it with that automatic damage.
Okay, I think for the sake of narrative, the whole group of you have successfully brought down this group. And Liza, I'm going to give you the option. Do you want to completely mincemeat this rat, or do you just want to take its legs off?
She would probably, not knowing what it's capable of even without legs, just totally grind it down into nothing.
Okay. Of course, Bearshley aren't necessarily rats as we know them. You're carving not just meat and pulp and blood, but also spirit stuff into happy little shreds, some of which fade into the ether, others just make a horrible stain on the ground. By the time you're done, all the most vicious and vile and barbed words you could hurl at this creature have cut it to fine little ribbons. A lovely tangle of rat pulp, which leaves us with the two guides, both of which essentially have leg racked or legs off in one of their cases. Initiatives are over. You can do what it is that you wish to do.
Liza's going to swarm back to where she left all of her possessions before reforming and suiting back up, as it were, and then making her way back over to the group once that's all taken care of.
Connor will be holding sword point at the head of the one that he took down, waiting for Thomas, who seems to know more about these, to come over and finish it off or deal with it in some way.
If it's possible, with my probably not, I'm not sure about my strength rating, but Thomas ideally wants to just drag the one that he took down to the one Connor took down, just to have them in the same place. We probably can still do that, like in the form he's in, and just sort of if I can do that and kind of just like lump them like into like next to each other and then just change back to human form.
Okay, yeah, you're able to drag them together and change back into human form. As those of you in humanoid forms stand over the broken bodies, or those of you not hover in midair threateningly.
In fairness, like, would Thomas even know how to? Well, he would probably know better to not kill them right now, but he knows the pack that there is backup, and he doesn't know if the pack's coming.
Well, you've been told there's backup, but so far you haven't seen it. In terms of how to deal with Beshalu, you know they will understand the first tongue, but likelihood is they'll be able to speak in Danish or whatever language, or probably English as well, given how long they've probably occupied their hosts. So how you converse with them, interrogate them, or what you will is entirely up to you.
I just turn to the one that I've taken on, and I think like Thomas is very one-track minded, you know, about the club, but he says like, is it just here or no? He says, put it this way. I can guarantee you that the first one to tell me what happened at the City Club is somebody I might let go.
They both hiss at you at first, before the legless female responds, "That was nothing to do with us."
I kind of in the first tongue ask Gleaming Pride if there are rats in the city club. If she's lying or not, basically.
Gleaming Pride does not believe there were rats in the city club. Not these kinds of rats, anyway.
In that case,
was the first question you asked in the first tongue as well?
As he didn't specify, I would say.
No, English. Yeah, it was English. Yeah.
I would like to respond. Sorry. After they said we had nothing to do with that, then I just would want to say, well, then you know who did.
The poison that pains this city opens doorways for us. There are many infections and many plagues in Odense. There is a reason we keep pouring back through.
Well, you can.
We do not question where the gifts we are given come from.
At that point, I'd like to imagine Liza finally coming back on scene to let everyone know. Hey guys, there's a giant hole to somewhere else in the children's section. A couple of the rats went through there, so maybe that's is the other place.
We're gonna have to do something about that. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know.
Thomas just kind of turns to them and says, like, you've made yourself a nice little home, haven't you?
We do not know you, Uratha. But even when you destroy us, more of us will come. We will just keep coming. Good
hunting. And at this point, I just turn around and I just pick up the mobile and I try to. I have my packmates on speed dial, so I call Kalia if she picks up the phone.
She is not answering.
Would you like me to take care of this?
Not just give me 2 seconds and I'll basically try all the packmates.
Garrett answers.
There's a rat problem in the railway museum. I'm here right now.
Oh yeah. And what is it you're looking for me to do about that? Come there as well?
If you want to kill something, sure, but they have a burrow and I don't know how to close it.
I'm fairly certain Pride is already sent in your direction. Kalia said something about you going off on a little adventure with some backup. Pride's supposed to be there helping you out. Stop bothering me. And he hangs up.
Okay, fair enough. Just Thomas making that I don't know what I expected face and just